Iran had Tomahawk missiles, and it was their own Tomahawk missile that bombed that school.
Do you want to know how much Donald Trump's net worth has increased in the year?
Well, Elon's up $200 billion since Trump's presidency started.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Find Out podcast. We were just making jokes about 80s rappers?
We were doing our best 80s hip-hop impressions, I would
These
say.
guys always try to throw me off.
Nobody's as good as me.
They always try to throw me off when I'm like, do this like grand entrance into the podcast and trying to be a serious operation here, and I just get torn down every time. But anyways, welcome back, everybody. I'm glad you're following us after Tuesday's episode where we literally just talked about how everything Trump touches turns to shit. And you were not dismayed enough to not come back, so we appreciate that. I think today will be a little bit lighter. Unfortunately, Zach is down with the sickness. That's a song from the 90s, isn't it? Wasn't it?
So, yeah.
It is.
So you got the
Disturbed.
three of us today. What's that? Was it Disturbed? Yeah,
I think so.
that's not my favorite band. But anyways, Rich wants to kick us off with a fun anecdote.
No, it's really
Rich?
fun. So,
Keep it under 5 minutes.
nope, I will not do that. No, so yesterday, my kid's in third grade, and he had a animal report at school. And so my wife and I went and listened to his presentation about parrots, and learned a lot of things. It was really fun. In the process, we're sitting there, the parents in the back of the room, and they stack up a bunch of kids. And so I think 5 kids presented different animals. And when you're hearing, 8 and 9-year-olds talk about like usually exotic animals, like the red-eyed tree frogs and like the king cobras, it's always going to be funny because they know only exactly what they learned for the report.
Right.
And then they can't ad lib, they can't go off script at all. And so we're sitting there and they get to this Q&A, so every kid talks for maybe like 2-3 minutes. And then they get to the Q&A at the end and they take questions from their class. And that was the fun part, of course, for the adults, because like I said, the kids don't know any more than what they literally wrote into their report. One of the kids actually was just reading the slides with her back to the class. It was the best thing I've ever seen. And as these kids are taking questions, and the answers are just, you don't know what you're going to get. Like one kid presented on zebras, and she said, zebras are 700 pounds. And then the question was, is every zebra exactly 700 pounds or are some of them different weights? And she was like, I think some of them are different weights. And so that was the kinds
Smart.
of, those are
Good
the, right.
logical
I was like,
inference there.
Mm-hmm.
it took a second, and this is appropriate, right? Like it's heartwarming because these kids are just experiencing one of the worst parts of adulting, which is public speaking, and then also answering questions that you didn't know were going to necessarily be coming. And I had the most sick sense of deja vu though as I was watching these. I was like, what does this feel like? And I realized it reminded me of Trump's press conferences talking about Iran.
I was wondering how you were going to connect these.
I'm impressed by that. I'm impressed.
Because it was I wasn't going there looking for an in with the podcast, believe it or not. I was genuinely enjoying hearing about these different animals. But guessing the answers in some cases on the spot, that is normal for 8 and 9-year-olds talking about animals that they literally just learned about in the last 7 days. But when you hear your president up there saying, what did he say the other day? I don't know that much about it. I think it was a direct quote about.
And he did all of this off of a feeling, right? That's right.
Premonition, wasn't it? I thought they were going to attack us, so we did it first.
Well, and he claimed that somehow Iran had Tomahawk missiles, and it was their own Tomahawk missile that bombed that school twice.
Well, and to be clear now, it does seem pretty clear at this point that the U.S. did bomb the school, as much as we tried to say it wasn't, but it got hit twice. So that's kind of difficult to say that 2 Iranian missiles failed at the exact same spot at the exact same time and landed in the exact same spot. Doesn't really.
Yeah, the New York Times says has out today that a preliminary report shows that yes, it was us, and it was because we used outdated targeting data. So
Mm.
Who would have thought that the same Pentagon who shot down a Mylar party balloon thinking it was a cartel drone um, was also using outdated targeting data?
Well, I read that we
while
fired
bombing
like a
Iran.
bunch of the counter targeting people 2 weeks ago.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Was
They
that
were
a
probably
Doge thing?
nerds. I don't know if it was a Doge thing or not. It was a dumb fuck thing to do though. And now we're witnessing all these fucking, they evacuated the Kansas City airport over the weekend. There's the bomb, like the quote unquote bomb threat that got diverted to Atlanta.
Hmm.
And we're doing all of that, and we have a 23-year-old in charge of counterterrorism attacks.
Yeah.
His prior work experience is fucking gardening.
That Luke is 100. That sounds like hyperbole.
It's
and
not a joke.
It's not. And actually, if you look his photo up, it's like literally like he looks like like he's an evil character in some like B like
It's
action
actually ridiculous.
movie.
It's fucking
The hair
ridiculous.
is like, and like he's
got one eyebrow raised.
Yeah. By the way, I have to break. I want to bring up
Joe
something.
Kent?
No,
No, I don't remember what his name is, but he literally is 23, 24 years old.
he's 23.
Yeah.
I gotta look this up. This is great.
Well, while you're doing that, a bit of an
Thomas
aside.
Fugate.
Thomas
22.
Fugate.
He's 22.
So
He
Luke,
leads terrorism prevention.
The
you could
intern in
be
charge.
the next head of counterterrorism.
I know, right? I think I'm perfectly qualified.
Well, I bet you would do a better job because I bet pretty much anybody would do a better job.
God,
than
every time
anybody
I
this
see
year.
this picture, it pisses me off.
So there's a couple other things about Trump that came out today. One
I
is
found the picture. It pisses me off too.
it's terrible.
Yep.
Yeah, we should. I think we're gonna have to show it. We're gonna have to tell our
Kyle
editors to
will
put it up.
for us.
Kyle put it up. But did you guys also hear the Florsheim story about Trump? So I just heard about it today. Maybe it's been out for a little bit. So Florsheims are men's shoes. They're like a mid-level. Their shoes are like 100. I think in this story it was like $145. Apparently Donald Trump loves these shoes. And so he is obsessed with giving them to allies and people in his cabinet, which is weird for him to give a gift to anybody because he doesn't care. But it turns out he also likes to guess the shoe size. So he guesses the shoe size and then he gifts them. But then here's the kicker. Everybody is terrified to not wear them because if they show up, and some of these guys, to show you like who we're dealing with, apparently some of them are really angry because they're like, well, I like to wear Louis Vuitton dress shoes and these are like cheapos. Louis Vuitton, for those of you who don't know, are probably high hundreds, if not thousands of dollars per pair of shoes.
Yep.
And these are supposed to be the guys caring about the poor and working class. But the funniest one is Marco Rubio. So Marco Rubio's pair are too big, and he still wears them. And this is another one we're gonna have to put Kyle. We're gonna have Kyle put this up. There's a photo of Rubio's back heel out of like missing the back of the shoe by like an inch. Like it has to just be flopping as he's like walking.
How much of a sycophantic fucking nut do you have to be to wear shoes that are minimum 2 sizes too big?
I'll show you afterwards.
You're scared to tell your orange daddy no.
It's like literally like this. Like
shit! I just found it. Yeah.
Look how much of a gap there is.
I can fit my whole thumb sideways behind his heel.
Right? Yes.
That's
I
ridiculous.
swear it's an inch. It's like an inch.
If my kids put shoes,
fucking feet swelling so much that any size shoe fits him.
Well, and apparently he also said, this is not appropriate, but it's what the president said. It's like you could tell a lot about a guy based on his shoe size.
God.
And I'm like, you literally never got out of the 50s and 60s. Yeah. Like you just never like
it's dementia. They get back to the spot where they feel most comfortable. That's the same reason he says all that shit that he would have said in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, well, he's also 6'3", so of course he has shoe size that's over 10, right? So, like, it's very easy for him to be like, well, the big shoes is the big man. And it's like, yeah, they rolled out 16-wheelers in the White House in the last term and made you sit in it like a 6-year-old because you were like, we had to distract you from doing other damaging shit.
They drove a fucking Tesla across the White House lawn.
These guys are supposed to be like tough alpha men. And if you get a gift and you can't say this gift isn't right for me, this gift doesn't fit, that's really not alpha behavior. And if you're leading the military, you're Secretary of State, and somebody gives you shoes, and you are so like what cucked? Is that a
He's cucked.
I
He's
believe
cucked
so.
by
you're
Donald Trump.
so fucking cucked that you're sitting in the corner with your clown shoes,
Literally.
your feet fucking floating around in clown. Like I'm looking at this photo and I'm just fucking laughing. If my kid walked out of the shoe aisle wearing shoes that fit like that, I would say absolutely not. Get those back in the box and come back here and try on shoes that fit. Somebody needs to say that to Marco. It's embarrassing.
Well,
But,
and
like,
the only way that I would,
these are role models, right? For MAGA.
Well, and
MAGA
also,
alpha
like,
role models.
these mega burly men wearing Louis Vuitton dress shoes.
Oh
Right.
my God.
Now, wear whatever you want. I don't care. But by their definition of
Don't
what
get
a
it
man
dirty.
is and what is not, which is, of course, bullshit.
That'd be a little
But, like,
fruity, I think, is the
but,
word
like,
they would use.
Louis
would
Vuitton,
definitely
like
call it
the first
fruity.
time I have experienced Louis Vuitton, someone I know, his like parent had a bag, and they were like, "Whoa!" And I'm like, "Well, what is that?" And they're like, "That's like a $15,000 bag." I was like,
I bet it holds things so well.
Oh,
I
yeah,
bet it holds
definitely.
things infinitely better than the $100 bag.
Yeah.
That shit has never made sense to me.
I still like carry my groceries around or like my lunch around like in an actual grocery bag. Like
I used to, instead of having a
0.2
work
cent.
bag, I would use a grocery bag. Yeah, I would just carry one of those things.
Tie it
It's like,
off, you know?
my favorite though is just because we know Marco Rubio, a little piece of him dies every day
Yeah.
from selling
yeah.
his soul. So like for him to be the one with the floppy shoes, like just walking around, like is just perfect. Another thing that came out today, actually, it was Newsmax that reported this. Newsmax, which was one of the ones that had to pay tens of millions of dollars to settle defamation suits after lying about the 2020 election, reported that. Do you want to know how much Donald Trump's net worth has increased in the year that he has become president? In which
$3 billion.
No, it's lower than that.
$2 billion.
$1.6 billion.
Jesus Christ.
Which
Perfect.
How much has the Trump family? How much has the whole Trump family's net worth gone up though?
much more, because
Yeah.
Eric is officially a billionaire, and I think Barron is like 100 millionaire. And
Crypto, right?
all of them, the majority of this is based off of the crypto scamming that they have been doing, which, to remind our audience, crypto has never produced a single product. It is a purely speculative item. And yes, there are people who have gotten filthy rich off of it, but more like as we've moved along, a lot of people lose their shirts because they try to get in late, and there's nothing to learn.
It's a pyramid scheme. It's just
So if you
GameStop
ever
it.
hear us start shilling for crypto, just know that they paid us exorbitant amounts of money, and we are selling our souls.
Yeah. We have already become a lost cause if we
Stop
say anything
listening as
positive.
soon as we start shilling for crypto.
Do you remember when all of those celebrities were shilling for, was it SBF, that Sam, the guy who went to jail?
Oh yeah,
I
Sam
can't remember.
Fried for you.
Yeah, and like they were getting paid like tens of millions of dollars, and then the people were like, "Well, why did you do that?" And all the celebrities were like, "Well, I didn't know what I just was paid, and I just like read it, like, yeah,
Just a deal.
yeah, that's exactly." But yeah, so Trump, it's one of the things that gets sort of pushed under the rug is like the corruption part, because everything else is so bad. But yeah, how do you make? I mean, because he was worth, I think, in the low billions before, so like he's gained like 80-90%. Like value on his portfolio in a year.
Well,
Like,
Elon's up 200 billion since Trump's presidency started.
well, Elon and Larry Page combined are over $1 trillion, and they're the two that give the least amount of money to charities of all billionaires.
Yeah, they might as
Number
well
one and
just
two.
like take one singular pubic hair. That's about the essential. That's about the amount that they give away.
I wouldn't have put it that way, but that's
the
works.
way I would put it. It's a piece of shit. It's useless. It's
That's how
nothing.
much I value it personally. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. Well, and then going back, we got this bad switch back to Iran, but Trump also today said that there is basically nothing left to hit in Iran. So I don't know if he is trying to get an off ramp to get out of here because the American public are so against this. But it kind of seems like maybe they are setting the stage for that, possibly. But the Iranian regime is still in charge. We replaced
went
Khomeini to Khomeini, and now the one in charge, we've murdered his entire family, basically his entire family. No news on whether we have destroyed any of the enriched uranium, which was sort of the whole point of this, about them not getting a nuclear bomb. So do we think he's going to keep going with this, or do we think he's going to say, "Oh, we decimated them,
He's getting
victory,
out. It's,
we're
it's,
out"?
it's,
He's
it's,
one
he's
thousand
tacoing. He's
percent getting out.
tacoing.
Yeah. No, I mean, so the Republicans, they were all huddling like in Florida this week, talking strategy, and one of the things that of the many things that are hilarious that gently leaked out of those meetings is
I don't like the way you phrased that because it immediately made me think of his diaper.
that was the
I don't
tie-in.
like that. I don't like that. Fuck you.
I think you
Okay.
like it. You can text me about it later. But was that Trump had been begged to find a way out, find an off ramp, get the fuck out. And now all the headlines are like, Trump hoping that this doesn't affect midterms, and Trump hoping that we can evade the economic pain. I'm like, dude, how little do you understand about the Middle East and energy prices to think that there was a scenario where you can behead an authoritarian regime and have it not have global consequences, including economic consequences with energy prices. I mean, gas has gone up, 60 cents a gallon, 70 cents a gallon, like every day it's like 12 cents more. So it will have gone up another $1 a gallon by the time anybody hears this episode. So yeah.
Because I got a fucking road trip to do this weekend. I'm pumped. It's going to be great.
Get one of those Teslas.
No.
They're real good.
No, I don't think I will.
Because we're more of a pro Rivian.
Well, we are
here.
a pro Rivian podcast.
Rivian's
but at
sick,
least Hegseth spent $93 billion in September.
So let's talk about that.
Perfect.
So
at least he did that.
There was a story that came out that the Defense Department spent, was it $93 billion?
$93 billion.
In the last month, because the end of September is the end of the fiscal year in the federal government. It doesn't go January to December like most normal human beings. A lot of businesses do those off a quarter off of what the calendar shows. But so in the federal government, there's a thing called use it or lose it, which is a terrible policy that we should probably look at, which essentially says if you don't spend your full budget in a year, the difference that you don't spend will come out of your budget the next year. So what does that mean? That means that nobody saves any money and they just spend, because it's like, why not? And when I worked in the federal government, there was some of that as well, where it was like, well, you need a new chair, you need a new this, which, they don't spend a lot of money on these things. So like, it's never like, but I think there were like $7 million on lobster tails. I think
I saw it was $4 billion on cable television. I don't know how the fuck you can do that.
But
you did.
They signed like one of those 700-year contracts.
Is that the like U.S. There's a military network. I wonder if it's part of that.
And there's like, I think it was $7 million on Apple products, and there's like another 686,000 in steaks.
Ribeyes specificely.
Yeah, ribeyes specifically.
I mean, they fired all the
cut.
I mean,
they fired all the inspectors general like over a year ago now. So
well, that's the thing, right? Like, so he literally did the Michael Scott from that episode where he has a surplus on the office and he goes and buys he gets the fucking fur coat. That's exactly what he did. But I have not seen a single person, like even the reporting I've seen, it's like, oh, okay, he spent like $1 million on steaks. He spent like $4 billion on cable television. He spent like $7 million on Apple products. Okay, where's the other $89 billion? Where did that go?
I could not figure out a way to spend that much money. I mean, besides like jets, or like could you buy you could buy like
Which is
NASA,
crazy because
right?
we were just told that like our stockpile was running somewhat low as we're bombing Iran.
Well, I assume that a lot of it is replacing munitions and things like that because we have lost a lot.
But if they just put that on the list, like $50 billion for weapons, that would be, people would be like, yeah, that tracks.
Well, it's hard to Rich, as you said, they fired. So every department had this role called the Inspector General, and it is an independent watchdog to make sure that there's no fraud and abuse at the various departments. Every administration bristles at it because, of course, like they're independent, so there's no control over it. But kind of understood as a necessary thing in the federal government. And Trump fired all of them. So there are not
big balls. We don't need them.
Oh, is he
big
still
balls
around?
Is there?
I
think he's still there.
I think he took a mobility move.
Didn't I hear that
but within the government still?
Didn't I hear
I think he's still at the government.
The 3 F-15s that were shot down is the equivalent of what they saved in DOGE? Wasn't that? Yeah, I think I heard that somewhere, right?
That's a great subject because I was looking that up to potentially cover it in a video the other day, and so all the numbers are fairly top of mind. But NPR's analysis, which is correct, was able to prove that they saved $2.4 billion. Of course, Elon Musk, the max he said was 150 billion before, and that was, of course, after they cut it from 2 trillion to 1 trillion to 250 billion. So 2.4 billion is the max on the one side of the budget, the balance sheet. The other side, they estimate, I think, 50 or 80 billion dollars in lost tax revenue because of all of the lack of oversight. And so the net impact is like 20x, 30x in the red.
Well, yeah, and we killed 600,000 people.
Oh, broad.
Right.
Yeah, with USAID cuts.
With USAID
yeah,
cuts.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
Mhm,
right.
mhm,
And
mhm.
so, yes, if you do them, like looking at what you could spend, like we talked about last time, we were spending every day in Iran, we were spending the equivalent of a full week of funding the VA. There are all sorts of really fun comparisons like that. Like you could build like 10 schools a day in the United States for the
Yeah.
price of Iran every single day.
I think I read you could fund free school lunch for a year just on what we did in Iran. For every school in America.
Yeah, I mean, I think the estimates are like
We don't deserve
800
that, though.
to $1 billion a day.
890 million a day, I think, was
890?
Which is crazy because, like, I think it was Zach last episode that brought it up. The most expensive day prior to that was like
That was me.
300 million. It was you, okay?
The war in Iraq. The most expensive days of the peak of the war in Iraq were 300 million a day. Of course, that was like, adjusted for inflation, maybe it's like equivalent to 500 million a day or something. But
Right.
anyway, point is like 2
Still
to
fucking
3x
double.
from day one, from fucking day one.
And don't forget that Kristi Noem gave out a no-bid contract for $200 million to a company that had incorporated 8 days before they won the contract for those ads.
Someday I'm going to sit with fucking popcorn and watch her get convicted for that, because there is zero doubt in my mind that some of that money came directly back to her pocket.
Tricia McLaughlin's husband is the CEO of the Strategy Group. The Strategy Group worked with Kristi Noem a ton in South Dakota. Everybody knew everybody, and so then they sign this, or they give this no bid contract to a shell company, which immediately subcontracted some undisclosed amount to the Strategy Group. So and then Tricia McLaughlin resigned, and then 4 weeks later, 4 weeks later, Kristi Noem was fired, and it's all related to the same thing. And Trump certainly knew about it, but claimed he didn't.
Well, he didn't like the ad. He didn't like
fucking pocket.
He didn't like the ad because it was about her. That I believe, because
sure.
I believe he didn't like that because it wasn't him. They should have just CGI'd him on a horse, except no one would believe that he could.
I was going to say, there's a lot
He
of
couldn't ride a horse if you fucking paid him.
I told you in the last episode, like they literally like lined her up. They lined her up on Mount Rushmore. They laid her face like right next to it.
They need a big fucking horse for him.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and
probably get a lot of animal cruelty complaints because he's probably
like, it's not cruelty when it's like, what do they call it? Like when it's like appropriate, like when it's rightful, peaceful. Like I would want to be put down if Trump was riding me. That would be.
Oh, so okay. You're saying
be like
put me out of my.
There's a
it's
phrase
like the
for
old
this,
Yeller scenario,
right?
Basically.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Rich. If Trump is ever riding you, I will old Yeller you.
Well, that's something I never thought I would hear.
Take a picture first
the
and
White
use
House
it for...
chief of staff told House Republicans that they need to quit talking about mass deportation.
Yes. So this is something that came up from this retreat. I wish I would have loved to have been a fly on a wall at this retreat because I'm sure it was just a shit show. But yes, the White House has told allies in Congress to stop referring to mass deportations. Why is that, you ask? Because nobody actually likes mass deportations out of the MAGA base. Like there's a reason why he's sitting in the mid 30s to high 30s, because Americans keep seeing pictures of other Americans being murdered and other people being tased, ripped out of cars, 5-year-olds being thrown in vans, tear gassing infants. Like,
they got measles outbreaks in like half of the detention centers now.
Yeah,
and
the food and their malnutrition,
in
like all of these things. Yeah, so the Montana one's closing down because they're building these, for lack of a better word, concentration camps all across the country. I mean, they are.
Those motherfuckers are literally betting on which person is going to kill themselves next.
Mm-hmm.
That was a report that came out this week.
Right,
there was a $500 prize pool if they picked the person in detention that killed themselves next.
That is so fucked up.
See, people use the word concentration camp and they're like, well, they're not dying in there. Yeah,
yes, they are.
They're just betting on who's going to do it to themselves first.
Measles, malnutrition, abuse, neglect, all of these things.
Liam Ramos made it like 4 days, and he was lethargic, sleeping all of the time, vomiting, and had diarrhea. And then the measles outbreak hit that facility before a fucking sitting congressman went and visited and finally used leverage to get him out. Tim's camera overheated.
Tim hit that second camera now. He's got the zoom out now.
No, my camera overheated. Which I won't say the brand name because I don't want to get them in trouble. But like, this happens a fair amount. Anyways, if you're listening, you don't
only to you though. I feel
you're
like
in
it's
like a carpeted closet. It's how hot?
No,
is it
I'm in the
room
basement of my place. The heaters are not on. It's like 65 degrees in here.
Fuck! I just looked outside and it's snowing. It was 70 degrees yesterday.
Yeah, but Luke, climate change isn't real.
This is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, but
how's the globe getting warmer if it's snowing outside?
Yeah, guys, we got all this snow this year. That must be climate change is a hoax.
How could it possibly be getting cold warmer? It don't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Never heard you
Shut up, stupid lib.
Southern accent
Fucking
before.
lib.
Maybe we got to create a character.
It's always the motherfuckers. Every time I get some idiot mentioned you in a video on TikTok, I always watch them because I get a kick out of them. And it's always some fucking 3-tooth inbred fucking trailer trash idiot telling me about, shut up, you stupid libtard. Nobody asked. And it's like, how about you go die in a hole, you fucking idiot.
I wish that the apps would actually say some idiot tagged you. Like if they could like read it and realize how stupid it is.
Might as well say that.
Some moron.
Well, it's like MAGA lover 2024 tagged you in a video, and it's like, oh, I wonder how this video is going to go.
Here it comes. Maybe he's one of the reasonable ones.
Yeah, I know, right? He's got a picture of like Joe Biden in the back of a truck.
Yeah, with a "Let's Go Brandon" sign or something.
I'm sure this video is going to be well worth my time.
Donald Trump and Jesus riding a pony bareback on the side of along the beach.
The scary ones, though, the scary ones are when it's like just a person's first and last name and they have like a professional headshot.
Yeah.
And then you
and
go
like
and they're
their
like
kids and all their photos.
They've got like 15,000 followers and they're like, they think they're the next Charlie Kirk and they do like a minute and a half like attempted debate on you. It's like, I could sit here and trash you, but if I did that, it would just bring more people to your page. Well, I'm not doing that.
And also the most horrific comments when you click on the profiles, there's always a cross in the bio.
Oh my God. Every fucking time.
Always.
The meanest people are always super religious.
Yeah, the purple.
Not all Christians, but it's always a Christian.
Right. Yeah, it's, it's
so mass deportations.
Those. Bad.
Yeah.
But
I clip that. Rich laughed at mass deportations.
Yeah, that's all no context, find out. That'll be a new.
That'd be really helpful. Post that on Threads.
You're fucked. You're fucked.
And we'll see how. I think people assume positive intent on Threads. I don't think that they would read into that inappropriately.
Rich is
don't say anything.
Highly sarcastic right now.
Tim can't stop getting in trouble. Anyway,
well, let's talk about it. No. But the mass deportations came out because they said don't mention them because the polling is so bad on it, and the polling is so bad on Iran. Which leads to this next conversation where I might have gotten in a little trouble so Marjorie Taylor Greene resigned 2 months ago. And so last night we're recording this on Wednesday. Last night was the special election. There were 18 or 20 Republicans running and 1 or 2 Democrats. So the Democrat, quote unquote, won the first round, but Georgia has a runoff system. So if you don't get 50%, so the Democrat is going to be running against the second place finisher. And there's been quite an outrage on Threads between the folks who are like excited about the prospect of flipping it and the people who, have studied this stuff for a long time and are seeing that there were 18 Republicans. And so like all 17 of those candidates' votes are highly likely to go to the winner in a district that Democrats have never gotten above 35% in the last like 10, 15 years, pointing out that this is probably not a flippable seat as it was a plus 37 for Donald Trump at 24. But here's a debate for the crew. Should we be pointing that stuff out or should we be cheerleading and using this for boosting enthusiasm for candidates across the country?
Both. I think pointing out it's like, where are you going with the facts, with the details? Because this is how I look at everything. They're having the same conversations in Texas with Tallarico. Is backing Tallarico a lost cause for the left because of how expensive Texas is? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a question that like an insider strategist would ask, because that's the first place they go, is like, how are we spending our money and is it worth it? I think, especially as people with a podcast, with videos, with a big reach, we have to be extremely mindful of of the guidance we provide. But I think you can do both, where you can say, listen, like, this is a plus 37 district, a 10 point, 15 point swing to the left is a massive win, because one, that makes the Republican Party defend every single seat that's within that margin across the country. They all start panicking. They all go into defensive mode. They start spending money, and they become less capable of going on the offense in swing districts, the ones that are, that where they think that they can maybe have a chance. And so I think coming out and saying things like this is a lost cause, or there's no way we flip this, that you don't have to say that out loud. That can be true. That of course we're not going to win everywhere we want to win, but if people stay home and they don't vote because they think it's a lost cause, then those margins don't move, and then the narrative starts to shift back and say, oh, are Republicans gaining ground back in the reddest counties in Georgia? Fuck no. We want that to be an 8-point loss instead of a 37-point loss. And if we can pull it by 30 points, like we've pulled other seats by 30 plus points, that's a massive win. That is what matters. And that then resets the narrative to Republicans need to defend anywhere where they're not ahead by more than 20 points. And that is a fucking disaster for the Republican Party in the House and the Senate, especially.
Realistically, my bet is that the Republicans focus immensely on the Senate in 26.
Yeah.
I think they're going to let the House cards fall where they may.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no way. I mean, come on.
They know they are absolutely fucked if
they're going to lose the House by
the House.
30 or 40 seats. Like, yes. the House is, they're piling up more retirements every day. Kevin Kiley, I think his name is, from California, just switched from Republican to independent. He said, well, I'm still going to caucus with the Republicans. I'm like, so what's the point of this? But
so what's the fucking difference?
There's another guy who's retiring who might not live. He's very ill, and he might not live until the next Congress is sworn in.
Oh, who's that?
I think he's from Florida. He's an older guy.
He's a geriatric. Of course he is.
Of course he is.
Let me guess, he splits his time between DC and the fucking nursing home.
And Mike Johnson is begging him not to retire early. I'm like, this guy's probably has less than 12 months on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
And Mike Johnson wants him to stay in the House so that Mike Johnson doesn't literally lose the gavel before the next Congress is sworn in. If he loses 2 or 3 seats, it automatically triggers a vote for a new Speaker of the House. Like, Mike Johnson could lose his job in the next 6 months if more people retire and leave early.
Giggle.
That would be hilarious.
Which is why they don't want the SAVE Act back in the House. They're already paralyzed, and he could lose his gavel. So no, they know the House is a lost cause. But yes, I agree, Luke. I think if we can get them to defend Texas, after spending $200 million just to defend the primary for John Cornyn in that, assuming he makes it out, and then they have to spend another $300 million defending a Republican incumbent from James Tallarico. That is a price well worth paying for us. And I think we can win Texas.
My concern is more for so in this district in 2022, Democratic candidate Marcus Flowers raised $16 million for that district. Same district, hasn't changed. He lost by 31 points. So that's when I talk about, that not probably being winnable. Obviously that was a midterm for Democrats. So that's not because Biden was in office, it's not the greatest, but $16 million in a district like that is not an expensive media market. And to lose by 31 points just shows some of these districts are just very, very difficult. It would be like a Republican winning the Jerry Nadler seat on the Upper West Side in New York City, which is as deep blue as it possibly could get.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because there was a former Republican running in that race. But that was really my only point, is that we should fund candidates everywhere, but we also should be realistic. And, I was saying if you only have $25 to spend in this election, I wouldn't put that $25 in that Marjorie Taylor Greene district. I would put it in a place that's at least a Republican plus 15 or lower, because those are the people. Like if we win plus 15s, that's a 40, 50, 60 swing. If we win plus 37s, there's basically no Republicans left in Congress, which is just not like going to happen.
I think the difference is, though, that dollars aren't votes. I mean, we spent $1 billion on Kamala Harris, and $2 billion on Kamala Harris in a very short period of time, and it was a fucking disaster. I think taking that same line of thinking, if you've got $25 to spend, if you donate it to somebody who closes the gap by 20 or 30 points, but they still lose, but that inspires a bunch of other people to donate money in their own cases, in their own local races, or go out and run for office because they think maybe they have a chance to win, where like Democrats don't have a right to win. I think it's kind of like Howard Dean's 50 state strategy. It was very effective. Even we didn't win all 50 states, but Barack Obama won like North Carolina. He won Indiana. Like, we have friends and family in red states and blue states across the country. If you lift the whole narrative together, it has this greater than the sum of its parts effect on the public mood, the public sentiment. I think that's one thing that Trump did really well. He had no ground game. They spent a lot for like third parties, but Trump ran famously terrible campaigns. He just drove around and went to rallies and gave people merch. And because he treated it like a coast to coast rock tour and not a political campaign, I think it got a lot more people engaged. And then they were like, well, Trump, at least he's different, and it kind of contributed to the whole he's not a normal politician narrative. And he won way fucking too many votes in 2024. He's a
straight talker,
right?
Which is really just code for he lets me be the asshole that I want to be.
Yeah. He says all the quiet parts out loud, and I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I think your point about lifting all boats makes sense. Like, if the Democrat were able, so there has been 2 general elections in that district where Democrats lost or got into the 30 to 40% range twice. This was special election would be the third time. He got 37% of the vote yesterday. Right. If Democrats get 37% of the vote in that district in November, John Ossoff wins that race. So in those cases, that's where exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Like in the closing the gap stuff, it totally makes sense, because if you have someone you believe in, and maybe you don't really care about the top of the ticket, but this guy, maybe you show up and then you just check all the D's, which is generally how people vote. That to me makes a lot of sense. So anyways, I'm trying to find this guy's name.
I check all the D's anytime I get a chance.
Sean Harris. I'm sorry. His name is Sean Harris. And his Threads account is Sean Harris 4GA, FORGA. So if you want to go follow him, do that.
I mean, Tim, just to pull that out, because I think that's a really, really, really good point. And my head hadn't even gone there yet. I know the people running for my city council. Like, I know them personally. They're not fancy people. They get paid like $12,000 a year to be on the city council. I know the state senator and state representative. I personally know this. Again, these are not fancy people. This isn't elbow rubbing. It's because they work, at like, they might run like a tire store or some shit. Like, these are very regular people. Right. I know those people, and I will go and vote for them. And so the coattails really go a lot of different directions. Mm-hmm. I don't go vote because Beyonce endorsed somebody, or because, even Barack Obama or somebody endorsed somebody. I go vote for all of the best people on the ballot that I know. And if I've got one person who's probably a safe bet to win, it's maybe more tempting to not vote and be like, nah, they're going to be fine. But if I've got 3, 4, 5 people and 2 of them are in a close race, I am 100% going and voting. I'm blocking out the day. My wife and I are going to go together. We're going to vote for everybody. We're going to talk about our ballot beforehand. Like, it is happening, and everybody will get the vote that is needed.
Which is a peer pressure.
Absolutely. Get your ass out to vote. You get texts on election day. Go fucking vote. Having somebody locally, having somebody on the running for Senate, having somebody on the presidential ballot. Obviously, they're all on the same ballot. And if you're in the polling place and you're voting for 2, 3, 4 candidates you're excited about, that lifts all of them. It's not just about having a strong name at the top of the ticket, like that, like we sort of conventionally think. might actually be more effective to have people personally on the ballot, come to think of it.
So this is the model that Run for Something, the group that trains progressive candidates, has. And they make the case, and Amanda Littman, who runs it, makes this case online a lot. It's like the reverse coattails idea. Because it used to be like, there used to be the way voting used to be, you would there was just this ticket. You would vote everybody straight on one ballot. And it would really be based on the top of the ticket, especially in presidentials. I do think you're right that it's reversed now, because if you know that person, you're like, well, they need my support because there's only like a couple hundred people that vote in these elections. Like, that incentive is stronger than, say, well, I know my candidate at the national level is either going to win or lose. And so like, whatever. That's why we need to run candidates everywhere. And that's why I'm not like saying don't support Sean. I'm saying, like, if you only have a limited amount of money, I would argue giving it to Run for Something is the smartest play. That's all I mean. I just want to make sure that the money's not being diverted to that, to like sort of those Hail Mary situations rather than races that, we could win, but we should be running everywhere, which is 100% right.
I think I come more from the, like, whatever gets you excited in politics, whatever gets you engaged, if that's an initiative, a ballot initiative, if that's volunteering, if that's working at the polling station, if that's voting or donating to support anyone who gets you really excited to be engaged in politics, like that's my 1A. That's my absolute top priority for everyone. Because I think when you learn more, you get engaged, you know the candidates, you understand how the mechanics work. I think the rest comes pretty naturally versus being told what to do. It's kind of like the movie Inception. When someone else tells you what to do, you like automatically
want to do the opposite.
You don't want to do that shit.
Same.
So like, I don't know. I try to get people hopeful, and then hope that it works out. And you said one thing though that I got to push back on. You said we should be realistic. I think we should be horrifically unrealistic. I think we should be absolutely reckless with our expectations and assume that we can and will destroy MAGA every single place that we can destroy MAGA. Because if people truly believe that, it will actually change their behavior. It'll make them more likely to go do things. Of course, after the fact, once everything's done, everything's done. But in the lead up to it, we can actually manifest different versions of outcomes based on how people feel. It's not in the data. It's not in the fundraising. It's the vibe voting or whatever. Like, Trump did this really well.
Tell people their vote
Obama
doesn't
did this
matter.
really
They
well.
think their vote doesn't matter.
Right.
And then the rest of the behaviors that you don't see, besides the votes and the donations, they are also affected, but nobody's watching those closely, so you don't see it as well.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. I think in this particular case, I was seeing a lot of people being like, we could win this seat. This is like gettable. Sure. This is and it's like, these districts have been horribly gerrymandered for a particular reason to make it difficult.
Fix gerrymandering.
So like, because the other part of the problem, right, is that you don't also want to give people false hope. If they're always like super excited, super great, and then like, somebody loses by 30 points, that's demoralizing as well. That's all I mean. I think we should be playing everywhere. And you're right, like, locals matter. Like, maybe in that district, getting to 37% elects a city council member somewhere that there's never been a Democrat, right? And then you start to build a bench because people are winning. You can't build a bench if everyone loses, right? So like that part totally makes sense. I'm just like, when I say realist, I mean plus 37, like, Trump would probably have, and I don't even think this would do it. He probably would have to like unalive somebody live on TV that like didn't like, I don't even know if that would do it. I'll be honest. I don't even know if that would do it.
He said it. He said
he could.
He said he could kill somebody on Fifth Avenue and nobody
I know.
would care.
That theory hasn't been proven wrong.
Not yet.
By the way.
He fucking, it was his administration that bombed the fucking school.
Twice.
Yeah. Twice. And there are still war-hawking neocons that fucking love it.
Oh, well Lindsey Graham's already moved on to Cuba.
Every fucking speech that Pete Kegg's breath makes, it sounds like slam poetry about killing brown people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why the SNL skits that they do with him now are so effective.
Well, it's like, we are the most lethal force that has ever lethaled. Our bullets are the most lethal, and the bombs, they go boom. It's like, dude, you couldn't even do this shit when you were a fucking weekend host. Why are you here now?
Because he does whatever Trump wants.
I think people are realizing what lethal means now. When you talk about having a lethal military, like, that's like watching an action movie. It's like you're speculating, like, oh, sure, of course you should have a powerful lethal military, whatever. But when you call yourself the Department of War and the Secretary of War, and then you go and you lethal a school full of 170 kids in Iran, this isn't something that's like happening outside of the world of war and lethality. This is literally exactly what he's talking about. He's talking about just bombing and missiling and killing and destroying.
Right.
And that, like, this is what happens when you call yourself the Secretary of War and you talk about lethality. It's indiscriminate violence. And that is what we're getting from.
Right. How many girls were killed in that? 150?
150, I think. Yeah. And like 170 total people.
We've also heard that apparently 150 troops have been wounded on top of the 7 that have lost their lives in drone attacks, which we talked about this on Tuesday. You know, the Ukrainians were trying to help us out with that 7 months ago. They were like, we found a cheap way to knock out drones out of the sky. And Luke's best friend, Pete Kegseth, am I supposed to say Kegseth? Kegs Breath said no. And then we got droned and a bunch of Americans got killed. And then we went back to the Ukrainians when we were like, just kidding. Can we have that now? I mean, it just shows like they keep talking about this like lethal force and strategic and da 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 da. And it's like they are toddlers with buttons that they push to kill people. Like there's no strategery, for lack of a better word here.
The fact that Zelensky and Ukraine are still defending themselves, like that didn't end just because Iran began. And he's sent trained teams to the Middle East to help teach the, I don't know, allied forces, United States and UAE and our allies, Qatar, Bahrain. They taught them how to deal with these Iranian drones. You think that maybe when like Zelensky was in the White House being scolded by Trump, maybe they could have made a little bit of time, right, for not dressing right. They could have made a little bit of time to say, hey, like we're gonna have this war in Iran. Of course, they weren't thinking about it back then. Well, they did attack Iran last summer, so hey, we're gonna have this war in Iran. You have a lot of experience fighting Iranian drones. Do you think that Pete Hegseth even knew, by the way, that the drones that Russia was using to attack Ukraine were Iranian drones? Like, do you think that their intel even went that far? They probably just thought it was Russian drones, but they're all Ukrainian, or they're all Iranian drones.
Well, I'm sure that the intel said that. I have no idea if they actually processed that information, because with Trump, you can't give him anything longer than a page, which we found in the first terms. There has to be pictures. So maybe it was like a big circle with a drone on it, and maybe they just wrote Iran across it and they handed him a piece of paper.
And he's like, now explain to me the difference between Russia and Iran like I'm 5.
Yeah.
You know, the only good thing about being in this spot, but being as young as I am, is that I don't have to sit there and like you guys do, where in the early 2000s, you're like, oh my God, the dumbest fucking person possible is leading us to war in the Middle East. And now 20 years later, you're like, oh, there's an even fucking dumber motherfucker that is leading us to war in the Middle East.
That I have seen that sentiment before, and it is 100% correct. And I'm not convinced that we've seen, you know, if MAGA wins, we haven't seen the dumbest one. That's the crazy part. I mean, we have to stop that now, but like, you be careful what you say, because you may be in the same boat as we are.
I still got like another 12 years of the draft. I'm fucked.
Oh yeah, I don't have to care. I don't have to worry about that. I also don't think they did not take that off the table,
draft.
But like
mostly because they're afraid of the fragging. There would be insane amount of fragging.
That's how they get into the 20s, a draft. Like that probably, like, because again, you know, the people who they're going to draft are people who have not gone to college.
Yeah.
And do not have daddies that can get them 5 deferments for a bone spur. Right? So it's going to actually affect a lot of MAGA. Now, they're not going to do it. There's no I mean, this just like
Congress would have to pass a law.
There's no way.
Implementing
not
the draft.
Fucking universe.
Nope. I don't think we will ever see a draft again.
Yeah.
To be honest, I just don't. Like, there's too much, like, now that there's too much information out there and like people have access to it, that, like, you know.
Well, and we don't need millions of people.
No, it's drones.
When you have drones and jets and subs, you don't dump 10 million people onto a shore.
My understanding,
not how wars are fought anymore,
is that they've got drones that are the size of dragonflies now, and they've made drones that look like insects, so that when they're flying around, you don't have, like, I think they had these in Iraq or in Afghanistan maybe, I don't think they're not attacked. They listen. They're like,
Right,
that's, but what they, like little tiny missiles. But, you know, so yes, the need for, there's never going to be a war in which two lines of infantry stand on each other's side.
No.
And they take turns muzzle
It's just
loading.
like, who's going to die fastest, basically, right? Because they just get mowed down. Or storming the beaches of Normandy would never happen ever again. Like, that's just not, thank God. So no, there will be no draft.
12,000 Tomahawk missiles at all the installed guns on the beach, and then you walk onto the shore. Anyway,
Yes. Okay.
How did we find our way back to something sad?
I don't fucking know.
I don't
I can
know.
end it on my story from yesterday. You were there for part of it, Rich.
Let's go.
Let's hear it.
Well, so Mr. Rich and I were on the phone yesterday shooting the shit. And I was at the gym, and I got to the gym, and motherfucker was doing a soliloquy. So I was like, all right, I'll just go in and do my cardio while I'm on the phone with Rich. And so I get in there, I get on the treadmill, I'm walking, and I have one headphone in, only one, explicitly to make sure that I am not being too loud, because I hate it when people are really loud in the gym. I hate when people sing to themselves. I hate that shit. There's a woman on the treadmill next to me, and there's a dude on the other side. The dude has never, I've been introduced to the guy before. We're kind of like, we know each other's names. And the woman to next to me is walking backwards on the treadmill, and she has no headphones in. And I noticed a couple times as Rich and I are talking that she like looks over at me. And it's important to note that there was some shit talking of Donald Trump in this conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And this
Believe it
woman
or
looks
not,
over
yeah.
and she kind of like gives me the side eye. I'm like, all right, whatever, sorry. And like I tone it down a little more, like I talk a little quieter, and nothing. And then I hear like this big, and she hits the emergency pause on the treadmill, and she moves down a row, like a whole fucking 12, 15 feet away from me. I'm like, oh, okay, somebody's in a tizzy. She's mad that I'm shit talking Trump. And then another guy comes and takes her spot like 5 minutes later, and Rich is still, and so we're still fucking talking.
You were part of this.
I was also part of this. And so it's like Rich and I are just about talking, and I'm like walking, and then I look down, and the woman is like right next to me, and she's like, "Excuse me." And I muted myself on the conversation. I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And she says, "I just want to tell you that you're being really rude." And I said, "What?" And she's like, "You were talking so loud on the phone, and I'm sure you're disturbing both people next to me, and I just want to tell you that you're being rude." And I said, "Okay, I'm sorry." And then she goes, "And just so we're on the same page, I'm a general manager, and if you ever want to go anywhere in life, you'll stop using the word like and the F word so much, because I would never hire someone
I
like
didn't
you."
hear this part.
And I was like, I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And it took everything in my power not to just be like, "Get fucked." That was as much as I could do. And so then, and it gets better, because she came back for seconds. When I was on the treadmill, I had a hoodie on, and underneath I had my "Get Fucked for Charity" shirt on. And so I get off the treadmill, and I go down to do my lift part, and I do my lift, and during the course of the lift, I take my hoodie off, and so everybody, like, it's plainly visible. And so I am walking to switch machines, and she's there, and I see her. She looks at the shirt, and it's like her fucking head exploded. And I'm like, oh, fuck, it's not done now. And so I do some more lifting, and then I go to get in the locker room to leave, and I see the lady behind the front desk come out. And I'm like, oh, shit. And she comes over, she's like, "Excuse me, we've had a complaint about your shirt." And I had put my hoodie back on. She's like, "I need to see it." And I was like, okay. So I take the hoodie off, and she's like, "Do you mind explaining what it is?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm an influencer. Get fucked is my catchphrase. This shirt feeds people." And the lady goes, "Oh, well, where do I get one?" And I was like, "Here's the link." And,
she did?
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And she was like, "I just want you to know that the lady who reported you, she did report you, but we've had a lot of problems with her before.
Oh, man.
Don't take it to heart." And I was like, "I appreciate that." But it's just like,
That
are you
is
fucking
amazing.
kidding me? Entitled boomers are the fucking worst.
I love the "I'm a
It's
general manager." Is that
I
supposed to
am a
like
general manager of what?
She's
Yeah,
giving
Of
you
what
like
are you a general manager?
yeah, like of a professional sports team or like a restaurant?
her stay at home,
right? Like,
I mean,
school.
It positively enraged me. I haven't benched 225 with that speed in months, because I came off that treadmill so fucking
Well,
angry.
Yeah.
Luke, where can people purchase this shirt?
You can get the Get Fucked for Charity that enrages boomers, apparently, at
MAGA boomers. MAGA boomers.
findoutpodcast.com.
Don't
MAGA
lump them all.
boomers.
Don't lump them all together.
That's true. That's fair. That's fair.
Yes, and it goes to
Feeding America.
we don't make a dime off of these shirts. All the proceeds go to Feeding America. We do make a dime off our other merch, which I also highly recommend you purchase because we have to
They
keep
are
the
both
lights.
awesome. Yes.
They're all made in America, all of that stuff. But the Feeding America one, yeah, is really, really important, especially with such, Luke decided to do this after Trump decided to cut billions in assistance for poor and working class families. So it's the least we can do. And you also people love the slogan, as long as you're not a MAGA boomer, I guess.
I'm convinced she was just pissed that we were shit talking Trump.
Oh yeah.
Well, if she's complained before, then that's,
Well, and the other thing is, I asked the two people on the treadmills next to me before I got off. I was like, "Hey, that lady ripped me a new asshole. Was I disturbing you at all?" And the guy I know, he goes, "No, dude, I didn't even hear a word of your conversation." And the other guy goes, "Nope." And it was like, "Well, shocker. Both of you guys have headphones in. When you're on the treadmill that's 3 feet away from me, I could be talking in a subdued voice, and you would still hear it."
Also, gyms are loud.
Yeah.
They're loud. Right?
Welcome to the real world.
Music, equipment banging, the machines running. If you have, if she has extreme sound sensitivity, headphones or earplugs are the thing that she would need. But it sounds like you're right. She just didn't like your politics.
I have never. People who go to the gym without headphones scare me. Do you not need to drown out the voices in your head? Because I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just get fucked, get fucked, get fucked, get fucked.
Exactly.
Get fucked.
It's like a constant rage.
When I used to work out, I didn't, but it was I used to do Orange Theory, which is a class you have to listen to the instructions. So that's a little bit different.
Yeah,
but they pump music. It's loud as shit in there. If somebody was singing if they talked, it'd be weird. But you wouldn't be able to hear any of that shit. But we also have I think there's a no cell phone policy in that gym too. But that's different. Just a regular gym.
She took a nice picture of me, and I was like, "Thanks."
She took a picture?
I was like, "What are we doing here?"
Oh my god!
Probably shared it with the manager. She's a manager, and she spoke to the manager.
General manager.
She's a general manager.
General manager.
She went up to the manager. She was like, "I'm also a general manager."
I wonder if she's actually the assistant to the general manager.
Crazy thing is, I worked at that gym, and that's proof I can be hired by.
I mean, the lady who received the complaint came over and asked where she could get your shirt. I think you're probably going to be okay.
I think I'm fine.
I think you're okay.
So anyways, folks, you should buy that and help Feeding America, and maybe don't wear it to gyms in red areas, maybe.
Strongly
or unless
disagree. No, you'll sell more to the gym manager.
That's true.
Wear 'em
because
everywhere.
even in those big red areas, there are blue people. So
I've got extras. I'm thinking about bringing the manager one just because she was cool.
I was going to say you should. I was going to say you should take one and put it on her treadmill next time she's there for her as a gift.
Yeah, that'd go great.
But now I'm thinking you should do a Get Karen for charity, and then you could put the Get Karen shirt on her treadmill. You should wear it everywhere. It's your spirit animal.
or maybe just stay away from her.
Yeah, I'm hoping not to
That's
have any more interactions with her.
Yeah. So everybody, do not engage with people in the gym.
People are fucking crazy. You never know.
Crazy.
You never know, and you just don't need to do that. But anyways, all right. We've hit an hour. 3 of us got to an hour. That's pretty good.
That's impressive.
I think we're gonna stop. Couple things. So Luke, by the time people have listened to this,
Get Angry will be out.
Find Out Media's second show, Get Angry with Luke and country artist Brian Andrews will be live. What is the first episode about, Luke?
Basically, it's a debut. We went through about a week's worth of news at rapid fire rate. So if you don't want a soliloquy, that's the place to go. Zach, who is also doing some producing on it, described it as a 30-minute brick of anger thrown directly at your face, but only at the bad people. I think the title of the first one is the podcast that MAGA will come to fear.
Oh, I like that.
I like it too. It's pretty fucking sweet.
So you can find that by searching Get Angry and Find Out Media, probably. You can find it on our YouTube, Substack. there's a Substack page for it. I think specifically it's on Apple and all those things, but it's not actually posted yet. So that's why I'm acting a little vague, because I'm not 100% sure where everything is. But it is going up today, which is Wednesday. So by the time you listen to this, which is Thursday, you will be able to check that out. So you listen to this and then you run over and listen to that one. And then we've got 5 other shows coming in the next few weeks. So I don't remember which one's next, so we're not going to talk about it. But go check that one out. It's great. If you don't like the F word, don't.
You're not
don't
97 times in 30 minutes.
Yeah. So it's because they're angry. Because they're angry. So
Justified.
All right, folks. Well, thank you for listening. We hope Zach gets better, feels better soon. Don't forget to check out our Substacks and get some memberships to support us, so we keep the lights on and keep building new shows and building more content to help move people to our side. And with that, have a wonderful weekend, and we will be back on Tuesday. Oh, no, sorry. One other pitch. I'm doing terrible today. We are moving our live streams from Wednesday nights because it turns out all of us that have kids, it's difficult to do at night. So we are going to do these on Fridays. So this Friday, meaning tomorrow at noon, we will be going live to talk about the week, answer your questions, all that sort of stuff. So just wanted you to know we switched those because it was basically impossible to get everybody together. So now we're going to do it during the day. So check us out on Friday on our YouTube channel. So with that, now I really mean goodbye and have a lovely weekend.